Hey everyone, this is Teo. Welcome to another watercolor video. So last week, I wanted to see if I was able to create a versatile 12 color mixing palette using only the colors from Daniel Smith's Series 1. So today I'm going to do the same thing but with Series 2 colors. If you have not watched the earlier video, you may want to watch that first. So series refers to the price range of the paint. Series 1 from Daniel Smith is the more affordable ones and Series 5 is the most expensive. So the colors that I have here, they are all from Series 2 and it's labeled on the paint tube. So in the palette with only Series 1 paint, there is one limitation. The selection of reds is very limited and some of the reds, they are not light fast. So when it comes to Series 2, now we have a lot more options. Right, I'm going to swatch out these colors and talk about them one by one. Let's start with Hansa Yellow Medium. Hansa Yellow is a nice mid yellow. It's very intense. I actually have many colors from Series 2 in my main palette. Hansa Yellow is one that I have been using for many years. So this is a very versatile yellow that you can use to mix orange and greens. One alternative for this may be Nickel Azo Yellow, PY 150. So Hansa Yellow is PY 97. Nickel Azo Yellow is quite a common color that's used by Daniel Smith to mix other colors. And this color is a bit warmer compared to Hansa Yellow Medium. Next we have Permanent Yellow Dip. This is a nice alternative to New Gamboge. This is PY 110. And New Gamboge is actually a mixture of this paint PY 110 and Hansa Yellow Medium PY 97. So if you have these two colors, you don't actually need to include New Gamboge in your palette. Permanent Yellow Dip is a very transparent warm yellow or orange. The alternative is this Isoindolene Yellow, which as you can see is semi-transparent. This is PY 139. So obviously, if you want a mixing color, Permanent Yellow Dip is the better choice. I usually have a muted yellow in my palette and it's usually either Raw Sienna or Monte Amiata Natural Sienna. So since this video is on Series 2, I will pick this Series 2 color, Burgundy Yellow Ochre, which is a pretty nice sienna-like color. This is PY 43 and this is very transparent. Just for comparison purposes, I want to show you how Yellow Ochre looks like. Yellow Ochre is from Series 1. Yellow Ochre uses the same pigment as Burgundy Yellow Ochre, PY 43. And this is Monte Amiata Natural Sienna, PBR 7. Next we have Transparent Pyro Orange. So this is a very warm orange. It almost looks like red. So this is a fantastic color if you want to mix really bright, vibrant orange. This is PO 71 and this is very transparent, hence the name. Next up we have Pyro Crimson. So this is a very intense red. This is PR 264 and it's very transparent. One alternative to Pyro Crimson may be Quinacridone Coral, even though this color doesn't look very similar to Pyro Crimson. I still want to include this as an alternative because this color is just looks very nice, very beautiful. And this is Quinacridone Magenta. This is a very strong magenta color, very transparent as well, very intense and transparent. So later on we will be using some of these colors to mix with other primary colors. This is PR 202. Quinacridone Rose is a very popular color and this is also from Series 2. This is PV19. One alternative may be Rhodonite Genuine, Cerulean blue chromium is one of my favorite blues for painting skies, for mixing with cool reds to produce really beautiful violets and purples. This is PB36. Now cerulean blue non-chromium is PB35, and that's actually from series 3. So this version is cheaper, and I think this version actually looks better compared to PB35. Let me have cerulean blue here as well, so that I can compare this when it's dry, when both swatches are dry later on. And next we have French Ultramarine PB29. This is also a very popular color. So Ultramarine Blue is from series 1 and French Ultramarine is from series 2. So if you want to save some money, you can actually just get Ultramarine Blue. Just for comparison purposes, I'm going to have Ultramarine Blue here. So the difference between French Ultramarine and Ultramarine Blue is actually very subtle. I have a video on comparing these two colors. I'll put a link in the video description below. This is Cobalt Blue. This is from series 3. And Indantrum Blue from series 2, PB60. Sap Green is a must in my palette. I really love this color because this is a very convenient green. You can mix this using Hansa Yellow Medium and French Ultramarine. The formula that Daniel Smith is using is these 3 pigments, PEO48, PY150 and PG7. It's useful to include a cool green as well, and for that I'm going to pick Amazonite. So Phthalo Green Blue shade is actually from series 1. This color, it's definitely not as intense compared to Phthalo Green. The tinting strength is not that high, so that means if you want to have intensity, if you want this color to look really vibrant and saturated, you have to use a lot more paint. Whereas with Phthalo Green, you just need to use a tiny bit of paint. Another alternative for a cool green is Viridian PG18. Be careful of this paint. If you squeeze this inside a pan, it will harden back into a rock and it's very difficult to re-wet. So this color, this paint, it's best used straight from the tube. Burnt Sienna is a color that I would include in my palette, but that's actually from series 1, which is actually a good thing because Burnt Sienna is cheaper compared to series 2 paint. So my alternative for Burnt Sienna would be this color, Burgundy Red Ochre. But this color, it's not as transparent. This is PR102. Let's see if we have better option. This is Fiat Gold Ochre. This is also PR102, and this is not bad. This is quite nice, a bit more reddish. Minnesota Pipestone. Now this color, this paint, it has low tinting strength. That means you're going to need to squeeze out a lot more paint in order to get the saturation. Let's take a look at Italian Burnt Sienna. This is quite nice too. So these are the 12 colors I have picked. We have 4 yellows, 3 reds and 2 blues, 2 greens and 1 earth. So this should be a pretty versatile mixing palette as well. Let's take a closer look at this color. So Hansa Yellow Medium, Permanent Yellow Deep. So if you want to save some money, you can actually just go for New Gamboge, which looks very similar to this color because, well, New Gamboge is made out of this color and Hansa Yellow Medium. As for Burgundy Yellow Ochre, this is a bit more muted than I like. So this is actually my preferred muted yellow or earth tone. And even Yellow Ochre, I think it's more beautiful compared to this muted Yellow Ochre. And these 2 colors, they are from series 1. Transparent Power Orange, very warm orange, very nice. So between these 2, I would probably pick Pyro Crimson. because quinacridone coral is somewhere between crimson and quinacridone rose. Queen magenta is nice, it's very different, it stands out on its own. Magenta is one of the so-called true primary colors, so it's a very versatile color for mixing. And this is quinacridone rose. This is more vibrant compared to rhodonite, so the preference would be for quinacridone rose. Cerulean blue chromium and cerulean blue. Actually both look quite similar, but I do prefer the color here. French ultramarine PB29 and ultramarine blue. Actually, at a glance, I am not able to tell the difference, and in fact when I use these two colors to mix with other colors, the difference is also not that significant, not that visually significant. So you can probably go with ultramarine blue series 1 to save some money. Sap green is a paint that I use a lot, use up quite often. For the cool green, you can actually just go for phthalo green, which is more intense, and also you can use that color, use that paint for a very long time. These two colors, they don't seem to have very high tinting strength. And lastly, for the burnt sienna alternative, so this is how burnt sienna looks. I would probably go with fired gold ochre rather than burgundy red ochre. And this is Minnesota pipestone. This has low tinting strength, so it's probably not worth the money to buy this. And Italian burnt sienna. This is also a very nice burnt sienna alternative. Same pigment code, PBR7. And now let's use the selected colors to create some mixes. So I'm just going to mix secondary colors. Let's start with an orange. So this is Hansa yellow medium. I'm going to mix it with transparent pyro orange. So this is a very warm orange. This is very beautiful. This is even more vibrant compared to permanent yellow deep. These two oranges, they look very different, which is nice because now you can create two different types of orange with this palette. And now we have permanent yellow dip with transparent pyro orange. So this orange is a bit more reddish compared to this, and it's also very intense, very vibrant. Next we'll mix a green. So this time I'm using Hansa yellow medium and cerulean blue chromium. It's a bit more water. So this mixture, it looks a bit more vibrant compared to sap green. And we have Hansa yellow medium with French ultramarine. So this is not exactly sap green, but it looks close enough. And let's see what happens when we add cerulean blue to a warm yellow, permanent yellow deep. So this is a very muted green, a rather dirty green. This is not really unexpected, and this is ultramarine with the warm yellow. So this is even darker. So a warm yellow is definitely not going to give you those vibrant greens. And now let's have cerulean blue chromium mixed with quinacridone rose. This is a very intense and beautiful purple. Cerulean blue with queen magenta. This actually looks very similar compared to the mixture on the left. This is also a very vibrant purple. Cerulean blue and pyro crimson. So this is a muted purple, definitely. This is definitely not as vibrant compared to this, the one with magenta. Let's try ultramarine with queen rose. Oh, this looks very nice. So this is a very beautiful and vibrant purple. And this is with quinacridone magenta. Let's have more ultramarine. So this is a bit darker in value compared to this. And lastly, ultramarine with pyro crimson. So this is definitely more muted. And lastly, let's have cerulean blue chromium and fired gold ochre. Let's see if we can get a gray. And this is French ultramarine with fired gold ochre. Not exactly the neutral gray I was looking for. So these are the secondary mixes we can produce with the selection. So we can get very vibrant secondary colors, orange, green, and purples. The nice thing about mixing your own colors is you can produce very beautiful color transition. So if you're just using the orange from the tube, it's going to look quite flat, but when you mix your own colors, you can see color transitions like this. It's very beautiful because of the variation. The two blues that I have selected, they are both granulating blues, so most of the mixtures that involve cerulean blue chromium and French ultramarine, they are going to be granulating. So we see some granulation here with Hansa yellow medium and cerulean blue chromium. This is Hansa yellow medium with French ultramarine. These are the possible violets and purples you can get with cerulean blue chromium and French ultramarine with the various rates from the selection. So it appears that the mixes with French ultramarine, they are slightly more vibrant. Both blues have very beautiful granulation, and it seems like French ultramarine has more noticeable granulation. And that's with quinacridone rose. So the granulation with queen magenta and pyro crimson, not as obvious. Same with cerulean blue chromium. So these are the grays. This is cerulean blue chromium mixed with fired gold ochre. So you can see the color separation, the granulation is very obvious. This is French ultramarine with fired gold ochre. This is a bit darker. And this is French ultramarine with burnt sienna. So the mix here seems more thorough, and the mix here seems more thorough, and here you can see more color separation. So these 12 colors are definitely quite versatile for mixing. You can consider adding some to your palette. I have 5 that are in my current palette: Hansa yellow medium, cerulean blue chromium, French ultramarine, sap green, and quinacridone magenta. Let me know in the comment section below what are some of the series 2 colors you are using currently. I would love to hear from you. So that's all for today's video. I hope this is helpful and informative. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye! Oh hey, you're still watching. I just want to let you know that I am selling off some of my excess watercolor paint to make space to get more colors to test and also to feature on my YouTube channel. So if you are interested to get some paint from me or to help me out, you can check out the colors that I'm selling on my webpage. The link is in the video description below.